The San Jose Sharks have completed their sweep in the first round here of the Anaheim Ducks in the 2018 NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. In this video, we're going to do a series recap and look to see why there was such a mismatch in this series. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So another series is in the books here in the NHL 2018 Stanley Cup Playoffs. We saw yet another sweep. The San Jose Sharks took care of the mighty Ducks in 4 straight games to wrap that up and win that Battle of California. And now they'll move on to round 2, where they'll face the other team who had a sweep in the first round, the upstart Vegas Golden Knights. So that should make for a very good series. Both teams should be very well rested, as they'll get a number of days off here before the NHL commences the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, there's still quite a few series going on here in the first round, so I'm not sure exactly how many days it's going to be, but they're certainly going to have plenty of opportunity to get rested up. Although I don't really think you get there's not too many players on either team anyways that are really battling injury. One big thing though for the Sharks is it might certainly give Joe Thornton more opportunity to get ready to come in, hopefully to play for round 2. I know there was some speculation in round 1 that he was kind of getting close, but as they kept winning, there was really no point in inserting him into the lineup. If they didn't really need him to make it to the next round, they might as well let him get rested up so they'll make sure that if and when he does play, that he'll be in a much better healthy situation to contribute. So this series was kind of a little bit lopsided, really, if you look at the grand scheme of things and the whole numbers. I mean, there was a couple games that were close, but at the end of the day, the Sharks were by far the better team, and they just put the puck in the net way more. If you take a look at the 4 games, they outscored the Ducks by a wide margin of 16-4. So they scored 4 times the goals. The San Jose Sharks' 4th line scored as many goals as the Anaheim Ducks' entire team throughout the entire series. Obviously, the Sharks had pretty decent scoring. They were able to roll 4 lines pretty solidly. They got good goaltending out of Martin Jones. And the Anaheim Ducks, really, in a couple of those games at least, just didn't even look like they were really ready to play. And I'm not sure what's going on with that team, but I fully suspect there should be some changes coming up here. I mean, this team is a team that has had a lot of history with a lot of success over the years. We saw this team just last season go to the conference finals against the Nashville Predators. So obviously this team has a long history here. I mean, Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry, Ryan Kutzler, they're all got a ton of experience. And this team, like I said, the Ducks just did not look like a solid hockey team at all. They played so well down the stretch to not only get into the playoffs, but to work hard enough and get high enough up in the standings that they were in a position where they had home ice advantage, and they completely fell apart and blew it in this series against the San Jose Sharks. In game 1 of the series in Anaheim, we saw the San Jose Sharks come into town and shut out the Ducks by a score of 3-0. So obviously, that was a game where the Ducks really didn't get off to a very great start. Martin Jones picked up the shutout. Game 2, again in Anaheim, it's a much closer affair. It had a 3-2 victory for the Sharks. At least the Ducks looked a little bit better. They made it close, but at the end of the day, they were just not good enough. And then in game 3, we saw the Sharks just completely blow the Ducks right out of the water. It was an 8-1 victory back in San Jose for the first home game in their barn for the series. And really, after being down 3-0, you could just tell that this team didn't have much fight left in it. Game 4, I will give them more credit. They did put up a better effort. They made things a lot closer. The Sharks walked away with a 2-1 victory in Game 4 and a 4-0 series sweep. But at least Game 4 was much closer. They put up a better effort. The Ducks ended up having a couple of goals that were called off. 1 goal scored by Ryan Getzlaf was scored after the buzzer, which did not count. I mean, it was pretty clear. Watching that game, as soon as the puck went in, you knew the buzzer had gone. You could hear the buzzer before he even shot the puck. So that was evident that it wasn't going to count. But nonetheless, they thought they scored. It didn't count. Then they had another goal scored, which turned out to be offside. So once the Sharks challenged the goal, it was overturned. And I think at that point in time, being down 3-0, having a couple goals overturned, just kind of sucked the life out of them. And they just didn't have a lot of will left in them. But they did put up a decent battle. I'll give them that. Game 4 was probably their best game of the series. But it's another case of showing up a little bit too little, too late. So what's next for the Anaheim Ducks? I mean, obviously we know what's next for the Sharks. they're moving on to round 2, and they're going to face Vegas Golden Knights in a battle of teams that swept their first round opponents. So, and plus they may be getting you know, a healthy Joe Thornton back. We'll see about Jumbo Joe. But either way, the Sharks are well on their way to having you know, potential playoff run here, and the Ducks are leaving town, going to the golf course. You know, trying to figure out what went wrong and how do we rebound for next season. You got to think there's going to be changes. I mean, Bob Murray's been the GM there for a long time. A lot of these contracts and players are, you know, players that he had a hand in either drafting, signing, trading for, etc. They brought back Randy Carlyle for his second go-around as coach with the Ducks. You know, obviously things didn't go well. Last year, like I said, they did much better, went a lot deeper in the playoffs. But now with a quick series sweep, you have to wonder if they might be considering a change in coaching. I mean, it's not a given, but it's certainly a possibility for sure. But at the end of the day, it's really on the players. I mean, they have a core group that's starting to get up there in years. They're starting to age a little bit. And a lot of these guys still have a fair bit of term left on their contracts at fairly good-sized amounts of money. So you got to wonder what could go down. I would think out of all of the 3 top forwards, for example, with Getzlaf, Perry, and Kessler, I would think that Perry's probably the most likely that they prefer to trade, but at the same time, he also makes the most money. But his decline of the 3 has been the most evident. There's teams interested in Corey Perry. Maybe they trade him, retain some salary so it's more attractive. That's probably the better way, the easier way to go. Maybe they could use a fresh start. I don't know. I mean, Getzlaf is still reasonably productive at 32 years old. At least he still came close to putting up respectable numbers. I mean, in the games he played this year, he wasn't quite a point per game player, but he wasn't too far off the mark. Ryan Kessler, obviously, still a warrior out there, works really hard, plays a very physical style of game, a hard-nosed game, and obviously his body's taken a toll and paid the price for that. Ryan Kessler's durability has certainly been questioned the last number of years with some significant injuries. He missed a lot of time. So, you know, obviously, he's still an effective player when he's in there. But, you know, these injuries certainly take a toll on you over time, and you got to wonder about his durability and his productivity going forward as well. So what do the Ducks do? So leave some comments down below. What do you think are the Ducks' best move? Do they really shake up that core and maybe try to move out one of their experienced forwards that have done so much for the organization? Do they need a fresh start, both for the team and for the player? Do they consider taking Randy Carlyle, relieving him of his duties, and starting fresh? Or does it start up top with ownership and maybe they do a clean sweep here, move out Murray, Carlyle? Like, what are your thoughts? They have a lot of options here, and really at the end of the day, none of them are going to be easy. They had a situation, you know, with prior to Randy Carlyle, they had Bruce Boudreau there for 5 seasons. Didn't quite over the hump. Like, again, had a fair bit of regular season and some playoff success, but they, you know, haven't gotten back to the Stanley Cup since they were victorious back in 2007. So this team certainly expects, you know, high expectations for sure, and they're not quite achieving it. So let me know your thoughts as to how the Ducks move forward. Don't forget as well, we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up hopefully here very soon. We're approximately 30 subscribers away from reaching that goal as of the recording of this video. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to help us get to 1,000 as well. There's lots of great content here. We cover all 31 teams, so there's plenty of content for all fan bases to enjoy. Consider following us on Twitter as well. We're very active on the Twitter account, and we love engaging in conversation with our viewers and subscribers. So please check that out. It's down below in the description as well. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.